Welcome back to more Game of Hats. Off screen I went to see the badge seller and I got the scooter badge, so we can now scoot around at the speed of sound. And I will be using this for the long-awaited Cheating the Race act that I have hyped up since the beginning of time. Maybe not. Cheating the Race. You're missing a key item and won't be able to complete this act. Oh, wanna bet? It turns out this is, in fact, just barely possible with the scooter badge. I've done it before, I'm gonna do it again. Meanwhile, I'm going to be resituating myself in my chair because my foot is asleep. You don't want your foot to be asleep while you're doing a race. Sup, Mafia man?
Aha! Rockets are fast, and if Mafia on rocket, Mafia is fast.
That logic does make sense.
Little child want to race fastest man alive?
I don't know if it's you, but sure.
Mafia not sure Mafia survive this, but at least Mafia die as fastest man alive!
Those words make sense together, yes. Oh boy, this could take some time, we'll see. Perfectly befitting of the Diddy Kong Racing announcer voice. Get ready! Go! No, no, no. Wrong way. Finish! Here, we just gotta follow the dotted line, family circus style. And ideally, if we don't run into anything, we might have this. Yep. First try, baby. Although, that rocket is very slow, I must say. He says fastest man alive, but yeah, back when you could actually ride the firecrackers, they were, I think, quite a bit faster than that. Well, maybe not quite a bit faster, but a little bit faster at least. And I think that race used to be a rocket race where both of you were on those firecrackers. Which, gotta admit, I think that would have been cooler, but, you know. And I said before, I know where this one is, this time rift. This one was in the beta. It didn't look like a time rift, it was just a door that you could enter. You had to use the Dweller's Mask to get to it. Thing is, it's kind of weird because it used to be a doorway, and it's still a doorway, but now the doorway is covered in garbage. So it should be just down here. Yep. There we go. I don't know if I mentioned before. If I did, I apologize, that if you talk to these... Oh, nice Pac-Man cheese wedges, man. If you talk to these Mafia guys in the beta, they would tell you about this secret way off in the distance in Mafia Town, which, by the way, beforehand, before, I guess, like, the way the game is coded now, you can only spend so much time in the water before you drown, Wind Waker style, and before that, the way that you were prevented from going out too far into the water was with this robot shark. And it was very intimidating. It didn't actually hurt you in any way, but you got chased by it, and it was kind of scary. Whoops. Completely dropped the ball on that. But I kind of enjoyed that, and you could go to this distant island that had, like, conspiracy theory markings on it, and there was an umbrella that if you jumped on it, it rocketed you really high up into the sky, and it was... It gave you this sort of... It went to this little secret stage way up high. Not really a stage, but it was some kind of a secret. I don't know how to describe it, but there are videos of it, I'm sure. At least I hope there are. Yeah. I got these colors before. I don't want to put them on, but I'll get them again. There was also that tent in the beta that welcomed the beta backers, and in the finished game it just says, "Why are you still here?" I think that clears up Mafia Town. And, up next, we can put these relics that we've got to good use by paying just a few more pawns and recreating a scene from Majora's Mask. I know that UFOs abducting cows is not specific to Majora's Mask, but that's always what I think about. How are crop circles made, anyway? Because I would imagine it's just really careful tractor maneuvering, but I don't actually know. I guess the point is that no one knows. But with that, we are headed to Subcon Forest to get the last remaining time rifts. And it'll be a good time for everyone. First I'm gonna go for this time rift because it's gotta be done. It's not too far out of the way, and I can also show where I got that relic for the red crown in the meantime. I'm guessing any present that you find will give you a relic until they start giving you rift tokens. I can't say that with certainty, but I imagine that's how that works. This is where it was, right here, this tree trunk. I already showed footage of it, but now you know where it is in relation to where you start, at the spooky tree. And over here is more trees. Trees to the left, trees to the right, trees everywhere. I said something like that on a road trip once, because that's all I was seeing. There's some more fire spirits, we'll deal with them soon. First, want to head up these flowers of trees in their burger patty form. And the time rift is just up there. You can barely see it. Probably should have bounced on the balloon, but oh well, that worked out. Off screen I went looking for the remaining time rifts, and it took quite a while. I still don't know if I have that much of a great idea of, okay, well, let me just get back to where I was. I don't know if I really have a better impression of the layout of this forest than I originally did, because, again, everything looks the freaking same, but I did have some fun looking for this. And in the meantime, whenever I bought the scooter badge from the badge seller, which I did in the Subcon Forest because I didn't know whether I had to or not, I didn't realize that the badges were randomized every time you talk to him. Yeah, this might have been the thing that I recorded for the Sunshine LP in that one episode. This looks familiar. But yeah, I discovered, because somehow I hadn't noticed before, that the Mushroom Village area has its own music, and it's really cool because it kind of sounds like some Super Nintendo RPG town music. I think I mentioned that in the beta, the cookies disappeared right away whenever you jumped on them. I didn't realize that some of them still do, because I didn't imagine two things that look exactly the same to function differently. Usually I wouldn't consider that to be good design, but it doesn't really matter in this case. And I don't know if there's a shortcut to get to the timepiece faster, but I'm not going to take it because I don't trust myself, if such a thing exists. Wow, I just pressed the A button at exactly the wrong time. Yep. And that's a checkpoint. Interesting that they would put a checkpoint right here next to the end, but whatevs. There's another time rift. Timepiece. Time rift timepiece. Technically what I said was correct. That is the Train Rush Electro Swing remix. Yeah, Trainwreck of Electro Swing, I believe is what that's called. I don't know whether this episode will go long or not. It all kind of depends. There's another time rift there. That one is a little bit of a doozy to get to because we're gonna have to burn some more paintings. I'm using this as my starting place because I was just here a few minutes ago. I'll be taking a bit of time to, I don't know, I guess just talk about whatever, because something that I'm surprised that I haven't mentioned before in this playthrough is, since I was already talking about the beta, and I seem to always keep referring back to the beta, but probably one of the most noteworthy things about it was the way it ended. Because there was the special challenge with the terrible mushrooms that were hard to pinpoint exactly where they were. And after that... Come on, throw. Yes, more! You and your vibrato. I don't actually hate vibrato, by the way. I only kind of hate it when it's overdone. A little bit is okay. But, yeah, in the beta, once it ended, the ending was fascinating because it seemed to be kind of a preview of things to come, and it hinted at a greater story by allowing you to play as Hat Kid as an adult. And you just walked around in the falling rain outside of a bookstore that maybe your parents owned or something. It's not really... I'm not really sure. But that ending was part of the reason that I felt as much need to theorize about the game as I did. Because I fully expected there to be more to the story as a result of that ending. As it turns out, in the finished game, you never get to see an adult Hat Kid. It just doesn't happen. There is still concept art of it. The model was there. But... oh yeah. Okay, this is kind of weird, because you wouldn't have known it, but up here there were bones. There were like blocks made of bones blocking this platform, and whenever I defeated that little camera or whatever that was, it made the bones go away. It's just weird because it never showed that the bones existed, and it didn't show them going away. So I feel like that could have been framed a little better. Let's get some more cherries. More of these pink cherries. I was a little sad earlier because I was making a smoothie and I had to open a new container of cherries. It was very, very difficult to open, and then once I finally did get it open, it spilled everywhere. The juice did, because it was filled to the brim. So I ended up mostly putting cherry juice in the smoothie because I felt like I needed to get the liquid down. Okay, this picture is of Badge Seller, whose design I don't understand at all. He's like, well, I say he, I don't really know for sure, but Badge Seller is intentionally twitchy and looks unfinished with its animation. But since you know that it's intentional because of how out of place it is, it looks finished because it looks that unfinished. I don't know, it's weird. So after burning things to put out a fire to put out another fire, we can now access another section of the forest that looks just like the rest of the forest, so it's really not that enlightening. What are you doing, Hat Kid? Okay. Oh well. I do find this really fascinating, though, because this over here, you might notice Hat Kid's hat over here. If you look really closely at the... well, you can't really see the image from here, but when you look at the timepieces up close, you can see that they have Hat Kid's hat on them just like this. So this actually is a giant timepiece. And I think that's a remnant of earlier in this game's development, where the hub world, instead of being the spaceship, was... oh, there's a rift token. I can actually use those to pay for things in the spaceship somehow. I don't actually know how to do it, but I know that you can. But anyway, before the Kickstarter goal was met of turning the hub world into Hat Kid's spaceship as we know and love today, it was a big timepiece that you roamed around in, and... well, I say big. It didn't take any time at all to walk from one side to the other. Not that I ever played it myself, I just know from footage, from really early footage, that that's what happened. And you went through doors to see other versions of the timepiece, and it fit the theme of the game, certainly, but I think the spaceship is way cooler, so I'm glad that that goal was met. Of course, all the goals were met, because this game received... How much was it exactly? I think the Kickstarter goal overall was like $40,000 maybe? And it ended up getting $300,000? I think those numbers are right. That's at least the ballpark. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be paying a little bit more attention to the photo album pages this time. Because I definitely want to see where this goes. And if I don't get it all, then I'll just explain it, I guess. Because I've seen the majority of the pictures. Nope, okay, well that's what the Tanukis are a threat for. They stomp down. I didn't really realize that was an issue. I am somehow lost. I don't know how I am lost, but I am lost. Anything in here? Nope. Think eye... Pink eye. That's clearly what I meant to say. Okay, you there. I want what you're selling. And I know that there is at least one more right here, behind the... whatever this is. The shaft. There might have been one more. I hope that there wasn't, because we're not getting it. So many sleepy Tanukis. This is Sleepy Subcon, I guess, which makes sense, considering Subcon is short for subconscious, and that's kind of what you would expect from a dream state, and that's also why Subcon in Super Mario Bros. 2 is named that, because it all takes place in a dream. I kind of want to swing on that, but I don't know if it'll get me anywhere, so I'm not going to try. Yeah. I will say in advance, because it's not really that much of a spoiler, that... Okay, hold on. I'm getting like an almost sneeze, but it didn't quite happen. Okay, I think the sneeze is gone now. Anyway. The game ends the same way it begins, with Hat Kid in bed, and I saw the developers confirm, basically, that the game was not all just a dream, although some people suspected that that's maybe what that meant. But I can see how they would have thought that, partly because of the game ending and beginning both with her sleeping, but also the existence of a forest called Subcon. Yeah, these towers fall down in a very similar fashion to that one Mario Party minigame in the first Mario Party. I don't remember what that one was called, but it was a single-player minigame, which I was never very good at. Is there anything up here, or is this just going to make me slide off? Surprisingly, I have not slid off. Usually, you would slide off roofs like this. Alright. And I think somewhere along the outside edge here, yep. I know that one of the pages is down here. Very nicely hidden. This reminds me of getting green stars in Mario Galaxy 2. A little bit. Just going places that are off the beaten path. Don't know if there's anything else that'll help me. Oh yeah, these things are weird. These sock puppet octopi. Wherever they are. Okay, so we missed one, but that's okay. If you want to find the last piece, then you can. In your very own playthrough of A Hat in Time. let's observe the story. The Tale of Queen Vanessa. So you see Queen Vanessa and a prince. She talks about the prince in her diary, I think, sometimes. But oh no, he's being seen with another woman. She gets distraught. Now this is where things get interesting. I think that's a pretty clear indicator that the prince was actually the Snatcher all along. That seems like a pretty solid implication to me. So, this game might not have the same degree of lore as it once did, but it does have some lore. And that is the 39th timepiece. There's only one remaining, and that will be for... You know what, before I do anything else, I want to change this stupid ice hat to the one that makes more sense to me, because I keep forgetting which one is the one that makes you go frozen. There we go. So next time, the grand finale, where we will hang up the hat.